What's your name?
My name is Rudy Salcido, better known as Rudy.
Rudy?
Yes.
How do you spell your last name, Rudy?
Salcido.
What's your date of birth?
12334.
Okay. Where do you live now? What's your home?
My home is actually Arizona. 3916 Cherry Tree Boulevard, Lake Havasu City, Arizona.
Lake Havasu. Okay. You got the London Bridge there, don't you?
Yes, we do.
And now what brings you back here to Portsmouth, Ohio?
Well, Joey, that's my wife. She had a ranch in Texas, sold it recently, about 3 years ago, and decided to get a place here close to where her kids are.
Okay, all right.
And we got a place here in, I'm not too familiar with the address. The address is 232 Oliver Road in
Minford, isn't it?
Minford, yeah.
I know where Oliver Road is, yeah. Up there by the dentist.
Yeah, by the
The library likes to get a little information about your family. What was your father's name?
Dionisio, Dinisio.
What was your mother's name?
Sarah.
Sarah?
With an H at the end, Sarah.
What was her maiden name?
Castro.
Castro?
Yes.
Okay. Where were they from?
I believe my dad was from, I can't even pronounce it, Chihuahua, Mexico.
Okay.
My mother was from Monterrey, Mexico.
Monterey, and okay. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Los Angeles, California. I was born, can I tell you?
Born what?
Born in East LA, really.
East LA, okay.
East LA.
I've heard about it.
Oh, you have? Great. It used to be a really nice place to live at, you know, but things turned.
Pretty rough there now, I understand.
Yeah, it turned rough. When I came back from the service, I couldn't believe it was the same.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, do you have any brothers and sisters?
I have a younger brother. The ones that are still living anyway. My younger brother went in the service and he stayed in Frisco. He was in engineering. And my other brother was a truck driver for one of the, for the restaurants that they bring food, especially for restaurants and stuff. I forgot the name of the company he worked for.
So where did you graduate from high school?
Yes, I did.
Where? What was the name of the high school?
I went through Catholic school all my life. Okay, I went 1 year in public schools, and I not got into trouble, but I had a cousin that was blonde-headed, blue-eyed in my father's side of the family.
Oh yeah.
And being in the Mexican community, the guys were picking at him, and we both stood up against everybody.
Okay. Yeah.
And we both went. He came back to L.A. and at that time I lived in Azusa, California. That's near the mountains. And I came shortly after that. I mean, with my dad.
What year did you graduate from high school?
1952.
52. While you were in high school, did you work? Did you have little jobs?
Yes, I did. My dad was a merchant, and he had a grocery store. Then he had a bakery. Then he had a tortilleria. That means where they make tortillas.
Okay.
By a machine and so on. And I used to get up sometimes when he needed help, and with big orders and stuff, and count to 12 to pack up.
Okay.
I remember, I gotta say something. I remember one time I'd gone to, I don't know, to school. Okay. The guys came next to me and went, "Boy, you smell good."
You smell good.
You smell good.
All right.
Got,
Yeah.
from the bakery and something.
That's the bakery smell, wasn't it?
It was funny for me too.
So after high school, what did you do after you graduated?
Well, 3 days later, I went in the service after I graduated.
3 days?
3 days.
You went
I was in the service already.
Okay.
And
Now that was 1952, wasn't it?
1952, I was wasn't pleased with the way life was, and I felt that after World War II, all the Mexican families lost a father, a brother, or an uncle in World War II. And I thought I was a sacrificial lamb for my family.
Oh, okay.
I'm still here, by the way.
Was your dad in the war?
No, he wasn't. He came from Mexico due to the troubles they were having with the Catholics.
Oh.
They were burning Catholic Church. You know, they had some problems down there.
Wow.
And being a good Catholic, he just said, "I'm getting out of here." You know.
When did he come to the United
I
States?
really don't know. Way before I did.
Before you did, then.
I was born in there, so in the United States.
Okay. Oh, I meant to ask you too, do you know your father's parents' names?
No, I don't. But I'll tell you something I found out not too long ago. That one of the grandfathers got married, and he had 6 kids. She died, married another woman, and had another 6 kids. And I don't know if I'm the first or second batch. That's where it ends
First or
up.
second batch? Okay.
I thought that was kind of cool.
How about your mother's parents' names?
No, I don't know anything about my mom, really.
Are they passed? Have they?
Oh, they passed a
Long time ago? Yeah.
I'll tell you something later when I talk about the service.
Okay. So 3 days later, you went in the Army, right?
Yes.
Where did you do your basic training?
My basic training was conducted at Fort Ord, California.
Fort Ord?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How long was basic training at
It
that
was a
time?
long time. I mean, it was the longest
Yeah.
training I've had.
Okay.
It was. It wasn't like if you're drafted, you get 16 weeks or something like that at the time. But I wasn't drafted. I volunteered, and I got the full bore of it. I don't know. It seemed like it was 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 months of training.
Oh my. Well, you had your basic training, and then you go to what they call AIT, Advanced. What was it?
Yes, I had that but I went from there. I went to Fort Benning, Georgia, to get my.
On the other side of the country.
Yeah. Yes.
Georgia. Yeah.
Never been in a train. Got on a train and got.
Never been east before either, had you?
In the east before.
Oh boy, was that a culture shock, kind of looking at different things?
No, I was open for adventure.
Oh,
I
great.
was just open for any adventure I could get into.
Well, you did join the Army.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then at jump school.
That's Fort Benning, isn't it?
Fort Benning, Georgia. Yeah.
That's there. Okay, so you went airborne. You were an airborne. Okay.
Yes. I'm an ex-paratrooper.
Okay.
Combat paratrooper.
Are you? Okay.
That's important to me.
We'll get into that. So Fort Benning, and you get your parachute parachute badge. Then what happened?
Well, when I got my badge December 21st, 1952. 21st of December. And I had $43.20 in my pocket. That's all I had.
Uh-huh.
The bus trip was $40, tax and everything. So I had 20 cents for whatever. I just played sick, you know. I didn't want to impose on anybody. I'm too proud.
Yeah.
I'm proud of, you know, that I can stand on my own 2 feet. And I didn't want to impose on anybody. I just told them I didn't feel good. That's what I told everybody. But when I got home, I ate up.
So you took a bus all the way from Fort Benning
To Los Angeles.
back to LA, and when you got there, you had 20 cents in your pocket.
Well, no. To begin with, I had 20 cents in my pocket.
Oh, okay.
After my $40 went for the
Bus ticket. Okay.
So that was good.
So you spent 20 cents on the way. Is that what you mean?
No, I didn't. I kept it as a souvenir. I kept it for a long time as a souvenir, but I got home and, you know, you when you think you're tough and you prepare yourself for whatever comes, you make a mental commitment to yourself that you're not going to be a wimp, you know, that you're going to be tough.
When you got home after paratroop training, were your folks glad to see? Did they know you were coming?
Yes, they did. No, they didn't.
You surprised them?
I surprised them, yeah.
You walked up to the front door and knocked, or just walked in?
I walked all the way from the center of LA to home.
You walked?
Hey, I'm so tough, I couldn't,
You're tough.
I couldn't believe I did.
And your folks didn't know you were coming. So what'd you do, just walk in the front door?
I knocked, and then my mom came, and I said, who is it? She said, it's me, Mom.
I bet she was happy.
Oh, she cried and all that, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, if you're a decent kid and not a hoodlum with swords, you know, I was a musician before that. I played in a band. Before I went in the service, I was in the symphonic band, and I was in a marching band and all that. And and my mom put me through all that, you know, kept me out of trouble, I guess.
Okay.
What it takes, you know. And then I had 3 days, then I had to report to Frisco to get on the ship.
Oh, yeah.
So I just...
Well, the Korean War is going on at that time, isn't it?
Yeah, Korean War is going on, and hey, you know, I wanted to see it all. I wanted to go into combat.
Okay.
And live after. I didn't expect to live because, you know, the sacrificial thing that got into my head.
Yeah.
All families gave up a son for any war. And that was kind of dumb in a way, but it's just the way I felt, you know.
So you had to go to San Francisco and board the ship. What was the name of the ship? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
Were there a bunch of guys on there?
A bunch of Army guys going over there.
Yeah.
And we went all the way to Korea. And disembarked in Korea, not Japan, but Korea.
Did you stop over in Hawaii?
No, we didn't.
You went straight.
Straight.
How long did it take?
I don't remember. It took a long time.
Yeah.
Maybe a month, or I thought no, maybe it was. I really don't remember. I can't imagine a month. That's too long.
Did anybody fall overboard?
Not that I know of.
So when you got to Korea, where in Korea did you get off the boat? Do you remember where?
No, I don't remember where.
Okay, so then what happened to you?
Then they separate you because, you know, you're military and all that as to where you're going. And I got into a bunch. They put me, you know, I just follow whatever they said. You know, it doesn't make any difference. I'm in it for a couple more, 2.5 years more, you know, and probably for life. I don't know. I didn't know at the time. And I went straight to Korea, and then I got into the airborne outfit, which was 187th Regimental Combat Team was there.
What was it, the 187th?
187th Airborne Regimental Combat Team from Kentucky.
Did they talk like Kentuckians?
No, they talk military. I mean,
Okay.
I didn't see any difference, you know, because
Yeah.
I spoke Spanish and English at the time, you know. Since then I've become a linguist of sorts, with Greek and German and, you know, just my surroundings at the time, and so, you know.
Did you make any airborne jumps in Korea?
Yes, I did not make a combat jump there. Okay, don't get me wrong, because the combat jumps were done in between 1950, 51, 52 or something like that. And I was too young for that, you know.
Right. You had to jump though every once in a while to keep
You have to keep my
your
pay up.
Yeah.
You have to jump once a month at least.
Okay.
And I made a jump in a Seoul.
Seoul?
Seoul, yeah. You know, that's after the armistice, after the combat thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the only jump I made in Korea. Come to think, that's the only jump I made there. Because we were shipped back to Japan after the war.
So you're in Korea now, and what was your rank when you were there?
Private, just private, because I didn't have a chance to advance myself or in any way. I first got there and there was assigning us to different platoons and squads in the front lines. And we got hit by, I got to tell you something that happened. I don't know if you want to hear it.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
We were kind of all bunched up and they hit us with mortars and artillery and everybody just scattered and I'm over here not knowing, being in combat for the first time, all these bombs exploding and they're loud. Bombs, when they're hitting you, they're loud, they're really loud. And I seen an impression on earth where it went down a little bit and that's where I went and got as close as I could to Mother Earth. I mean, really was hugging. And after the bombardment, I got assigned to the second squad, some company or another. Oh, Lion Company.
What was it?
Lion, Lion. Lion. It's not Love Company. We're fighters, you know.
Lion.
L Company. L Company.
Lion as the animal lion.
Yes, animal lion. We're not lovers. They usually what they say about the letter L is love and so on.
Oh, you're lions.
We're lion. I mean,
Okay.
we actually play the part, you know.
So you were assigned to the Lion Company.
Mm-hmm.
So you're on the front lines.
Yes, right in the front line. Not only in the front line, when I ended up, the front line was there, I was in an outpost. I mean, way into no man's land. I mean, not way in, within running distance.
Running away distance.
Running if you got overwhelmed or something.
Yeah, okay. So how long were you on the front lines there?
Oh, a couple of months. Mm-hmm. We did a little scrimmages and patrols behind enemy lines. And to me, all that was just adventurous, you know. Like you play soldier when you're a kid, and this was for real, you know.
That's for real. Yeah.
And things happen, and I want to go back when that bombardment was coming, and this really happens when they laid off a little bit, and there was a big rock around, I would say about 30 feet or 40 feet away from me, and there was a hole in it. Now, I went over there, got into that hole, and there was a bunker in the rock. Okay? And that's where I spent the next bombardment. Then after they laid off, I came back, and then I got assigned to the second squad.
Lion Company?
Lion Company.
Okay.
Second squad and some platoon.
So you're on the front line for about 2 months. That must have been,
Yeah.
okay. Then what happened after that?
Well, I got to tell you where we were at. We're up in the mountains.
In the mountains?
Mountaineers there. The fact that we could breathe with thin air was a reason I think we were there. After that, excuse me, I should have brought my water in.
Want me to go get it for you?
Yeah, it's the south there, yeah.
I'll go get your water for you. Okay. Water.
Water.
Thank you.
All right.
Is that it? Were you ever wounded?
I don't know if you call it wound or not, but I had an episode with patrol, and it happened that I took care of it myself.
Did what?
Patrol.
Patrol?
Not our patrol. I was stuck out there somehow. I was going to connect a third squad or a third platoon. I forgot what it was. I was supposed to tell them that where our line ended. And let's see what happened. I got involved in well, I'll put it to you this way. I'm a survivor of 8 soldiers. 7 of them were North Korean. And I don't know how I did it, but I did it because I was in good shape. And to me, the North Koreans were like 14-year-old kids with old faces. You know, men, they were small. They weren't big as I was. I was 6 feet tall, and according to my record, I was weighed 180 pounds, according to my DD2 form. DD2 14, whatever it is. And let's see what happened. I managed to connect, and I witnessed something that happened that I'm not too proud. There was a medic with us that was kind of with us, and yet after that episode, they thought I was in a gully someplace in the front in that outpost. And he went looking for me because I guess the North Koreans that I was supposed to have killed or whatever. I just muscled through them, and I don't know how I did it. I did it. I do remember a little bit, but not too much. Because I think I peed my pants. I was scared and doing my job, and I did. And I remember a Hawaiian guy asking me, and I didn't say anything to him, but he says, "Are you okay, brother?" Just like that. And I said, "How come you guys didn't help me?" He says, "We couldn't see what was going on." And that's the truth. Because the way we were up in the mountains, there's little turns here and there and everything. And I also, while I was in the front lines, I remember they sent somebody threw a grenade at me, landed about 5 feet in front of me.
A grenade?
A grenade. And I got down as flat as I could in the ground and tried to crawl into my helmet.
Okay.
But I couldn't do it. But I was waiting for the sting of the hot lead or whatever was going to hit me, but it was a dud.
Oh, boy.
And I feel with that and everything that helped me, I felt I'm religious. Okay, I went to Catholic schools. I had a good guardian angel, and he was helping me out, you know, staying alive. I don't know what my mission in life is. I'm 86 years old, and I still don't know what's going on. But I'm going to have fun until that happens. So
All right.
I've died twice already, you know that. I know you don't know that.
I don't know that. What do you mean you died twice?
Well, in 2011, I had gone to Texas. I believe that was when Texas was burning. I kind of don't remember because there a lot of different episodes happened with Texas, and you know, my wife had a horse ranch there, and I had overnighted to Texas, which usually takes us 2 days, 17 hours, you know, and we got there and we started putting a new floor in the master bedroom and fixing the pool and so on, and I done the running. And a week later we came back overnighted, and I went back to going to the gym, walking in the morning, and just whatever I was doing. I also worked at the food bank, you know, helping as a volunteer. And then 3 days later, I died. And I was talking to my wife, and I was getting the treatment, and I stopped breathing. She's thinking about the heroin. That's my wife out there, you know, and she's really a good person, really a good person. And till the medics got there, they took me to one hospital that was too full. And they took me to the next city, and they were too full, but they had just got in contact with another, an Indian hospital that I felt they had room for me, and they gave me a treatment. You know, I think I was in emergency care for about a week because they didn't know what had happened, and it has to do with my asthma, And when it gets to you and knock you out.
Mhm.
Even though you can feel it coming, I felt it coming, but I didn't know what was happening. Anyway, I done that and I done okay. And because something else happened to me this year, about a week ago, I died again.
You did?
What happened, I seen it coming, but I think that I had the flu in December of last year.
Mhm.
And I was really sick, a depressional situation, and something weird. I was fighting something, and I changed. Since then, I've changed, and I've gotten tested so many times. I don't see if I got the virus, and I go on my own and have it, where they stick something up your nose, and they never took the blood to find out if I'm,
Mhm.
I'm afraid that they might want to use me as taking my blood to save somebody else. I'm not ready for that. Well, anyway, where were we?
We're in Korea now.
Okay, we're still in Korea.
You're not married at that point, are you?
Yes, I am. I've been married 4 times.
You
This is
mean
my 4th wife.
when you went to Korea,
No, I was not married.
you were not married? When did you get out of Korea?
1955.
So you were over there when the truce came.
Yes, I was in the front lines when the truth came. It was kind of strange that the way it happened. I mean, our artillery and the Navy was helping us and just blowing the heck out of the North as much as we could, or stopping them from getting more property. I think that was the objective of when everybody knows there's going to be a truce coming, to get as much land as possible.
Mhm.
And of course, we stopped them, no one going to take anything away from us.
No, not at all. You were an infantryman then, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And I had my MOS was different because of my knowledge of equipment and stuff.
Mhm.
And I kept asking infantry. I want to go infantry.
Well, what was your MOS?
Engineering.
Engineering.
Yeah.
But you're on the front lines, though, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
And engineering is, they get out like engineering with fixing the barbed wires and stuff like that. I don't want to do anything. I want to fight.
Did you end up in the infantry?
Yes.
So did you?
Except when after I got hurt on a parachute jump.
Did you get the combat infantryman's
Yes,
badge?
I do have it, yes. I do.
How did you get hurt? What happened there?
Well, about a year after the war, made a parachute jump in Japan, and we were trying the new parachute. We were lacking in equipment, and I remember one time they asked me if I wanted a hot meal in the front lines, and said I'd rather have a bandolier of 30 caliber
Yeah,
than a hot meal. I need more bullets.
right. More bullets.
More bullets. But anyway, I was the last guy in a stick of jumpers. A stick of jumper is, and we were training some other countries to how to drop paratroopers, and there was 9 in our stick, on one side of the plane, and there's 9 in the other side of the plane. And it's C-47s, which is a small plane, it's an old plane. And I was the last guy out and the first one to hit the ground. It was funny because I said, boy, this new chute, you want to get an opening shot like the old T-10. We're jumping the T-7. We're jumping the T-10s. That's what the difference in the chutes were. And I look up and oh God. Then I see the ground coming up, coming at me, and I says, oh boy. You see, keep your knees together and bend your legs a little bit. That's what went in my mind. And try to keep it all together, or else I'll break them off or something. And I made an impression on earth.
Did you? You made an impression.
And I remember the MPs and the medics were all running towards me, and they asked me, "Are you okay?" I said, "I'm okay." I told them the F word and told them the shoot wasn't good. You know, why should I have gotten that shoot that was already torn and wore out? You know, that's what teed me off.
Yeah.
I'd like to get the rigger that done that to me. You know. Well, afterwards, I went into regular army. I got PD'd out of the airborne. I went we were in Japan at the time, and I got PD'd at physical disability out of the airborne, and I went to an engineering company in Tokyo. And it was just a company that was stationed in some barracks that were out of Tokyo someplace, and it looked like there was a factory attached to it. Manufacturing of weapons, you know, like during the American War with Japan, or vice versa, whichever it was. And that's where I spend the rest of my time. I was either 19, no, I was 20 already. I was 20. I was a staff sergeant by that time.
Oh, okay. When you were discharged, what was your rank?
Sergeant, staff sergeant.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I guess I got along with the officers quite well. They said to do something, I did it, or had it done, or whatever. And I remember the captain of that engineering company, he seen that I was showing somebody how to use a shovel. For heaven's sake, they were fixing a base. And he said, if I ever see that again, he told me, I'm going to bust you to a private so you could handle that shovel again. He says, you're a supervisor. I said, yes, sir. What can I say?
What can you say? But yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
When were you discharged? When did you?
1955.
Do you remember the day?
It was shortly before. No, I don't. I can look in my DVT because it tells you the time of service when I got discharged, when I went in. I can't remember right now, but
when you were in, well, from Japan.
I'll tell you something. I wasn't intending on coming home. I was going to get discharged in Japan and go as a mercenary to Laos. That's one of my plans. As a mercenary, and they were going to pay me $2,000 a month plus living expense, and I get to collect the $2,000 a month after 2 years if I live to collect it. But I didn't sign the paper because my sister sent me a letter that Mom was dying.
Oh.
Okay, so when I got home and my mom passed about 3 months after I got home, and she had cancer. I was 21 years old and she was 57. And
were you discharged when you were in the United States, or?
Yes, I got discharged at Fort Ord, and I had to get home any way I could.
Right. Well, after that, and your mom passes away about 3 months after you get home, huh?
And I decided I'm not going back to combat. At that time, I know what's going on, whether people are getting killed.
What did you do then after you?
I went to a trade tech school. I went to 2 of them. I worked as a machinist for a while. No, as a punch press operator, my first job. My second job was as a machine operator. Then I decided I didn't want to work like that. There was something really wrong with me. I still feel that when I got in, I got to go back to something that I feel happened. That when I had all that blood on top in me, when I had a scrimmage with patrol, and I did a lot of hand-to-hand combat, I had blood on me, but it wasn't mine. But I might have had a scratch. Because after I got hurt in Japan, they sent me to Osaka Naval Hospital, then Osaka straight to Tokyo Army. I was full of parasites. inside and were eating me up from the inside out. And they had to give me poison to kill them and narcotics to keep me alive. Well, I got hooked on the narcotics.
Oh
And
my.
they put me in a padded cell cold turkey. And ever since then I said, I don't even want a shot. I refused a shot when they were going to work on my teeth one time. But I couldn't handle the pain and finally accepted the shot, the injection.
Well, no.
You know,
So you when you came back, you went to school and
Yeah.
worked and.
and I worked at Aeronautics, North American Aviation, and I took a lot of night classes, and then I worked for Hughes Aircraft when I felt they appreciated my talent. And
Did you ever meet Howard Hughes?
well, one Saturday I was at the Culver City facility, and one of the old timers, I don't know if he was pulling my leg or something, he says, you know who just looked into the door? He says, who? I says, Howard. I says, you're kidding. So I went out to the hallway and looked down. I didn't see anybody. So he might have been fooling with me.
When you were in Korea, did you meet anyone famous? Like Bob Hope came over there once. And
No, I didn't. When we finished basic training, Blythe, what's her name? Blythe. I forgot, some movie star, like she sponsored the whole time.
Did you ever meet MacArthur? Did you ever see him? Ridgeway?
I seen General Westmoreland in the front lines. I thought it was crazy, to be out there with it.
Westmoreland was there?
Yeah, he was kind of a young guy, and
Yeah.
he was a general. He was really up to it, It's unbelievable that, he was a paratrooper too, and that my ambition going in the service to be a combat paratrooper and live to tell about it,
And lived to tell about it?
No, not to live to tell about it as a sacrificial, to finish my
All right.
bucket list, you might say.
So when did you get married?
I got married when I was going to college, and it did work out, number one. Number two, I got in a situation where I used to be part of a pit crew for a racing team in the boats, and she followed us to the Colorado River, and before you know it, we ended up pregnant and got married and so on. And I married her right away, and I had 2 boys and a girl, and then I was in a situation where, for my survival, I was being battered, and she was a spoiled girl that one child thing with parents and grandparents, and she had her way all the time, and I couldn't handle it. And I also, at the time, I owned 2 taverns. I owned one that almost broke me financially, but I was making good money at the time, so. And then I owned another one, which is more like a nightclub. And after my mother and my kids passed, I kind of took the estate over and, sold everything, liquefied everything, and gave their kids, each kid his amount, and they blew it. That's okay. I mean, it's there. Yeah.
How many children do you have?
3, just those 3.
Those 3? Okay. But then you got married again.
Yeah, I married a girl that was really nice to me, and she was Jewish, mind you. And she was born in a concentration camp in Europe.
Oh my.
And she was sent to Switzerland, where her parents picked her up. I don't know how they got her out. They said in a box with holes and injections and so on. And her father was the first chief of police in Tel Aviv. Her mother was pharmacist at the time, but she was a doctor. And in fact, she was a tank commander when Egypt was trying to throw the Jewish people out of Israel. And really, they lived a life, and I'm sorry. And I really feel bad about it. I try to do my best with her and, give her a good life.
Then,
Pretty good.
then what happened?
She passed.
Oh my.
We moved to Lake Havasu in 2000, and we talked to each other
Mm-hmm.
and said, how long have we got?
Have you kept in contact with any of your Army buddies?
Yes, I did, with one in particular. There was 14 of us that got into the service, and 2 of us went airborne, and the rest went Air Force. And most of them died of leukemia. Because at the time, it was a peons are moving equipment that was contaminated. Time of the explosions, the atomic bomb and all that. And I think that's what happened to them.
Yeah.
And
Do you belong to any veterans groups?
I belong to the Airborne Association. I was Secretary-Treasurer to the Airborne Association for about 8 years in Lake Havasu. And I belong to the VFW, which I joined and became a lifetime member for that too.
Did you bring back any souvenirs from Korea or Japan?
I sent home a few things. I remember seeing them. I just don't know what they were. Like,
What'd you send home?
I don't like jackets and
Oh,
stuff.
okay.
Oriental stuff.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause my dad took a picture with one that I sent for him in pajamas. Not pajamas, a robe.
Mm-hmm. Did you like the military?
Yes. It really was adventurous for me. I wasn't too long in one place.
Mm-hmm.
Something was always happening, and I like new adventures and stuff.
Rudy, is there anything else you'd like to say that you'd like to add while we're...
Yes, I'd like to say something that I even told my priest about this. But you know that when I told you we got bombarded and I went into a rock, and then there was an impression on earth. I went back there.
You did what?
I went back to that location.
You did?
After the armistice, we had to move back 7 miles and set up new defenses, or something like that. And there was no hole in the rock.
There was not.
There was none. And there was no impression on earth that could have changed with rain and so on. And in that episode, I had to survive that patrol that came at me. But it was an enemy patrol. I don't know what they were trying to do, sneak in through our area or what. But I stopped them, and I don't know how I lived through that I've been well taken care of by. And that parachute jump thing, where I should have gotten killed. Yeah, and just made an impression on earth. Maybe the earth was soft, rice paddy or something, but I don't know, it was soft. And it helped me and my impact that God has saved me for something, or He's put a good guardian angel with me. I don't know what my mission in life is, but whatever it is, I'm ready. I've been ready to. I made peace with the Lord a long time ago. And the only thing I'm afraid when I die is I don't want to suffer too much.
You don't want it?
I don't want to suffer.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I just want to die like I did twice already. Just
Yes.
off,
Well, I want to thank you for coming in today and telling your story.
Yeah, I'm glad. I felt I had to tell somebody all these things that happened, and a lot of unanswered questions as far as my head is concerned, you know, as to why things happen and how they happen. But I'm here, that's the main thing. Oh, I worked for Hughes Aircraft. I was, you know, at the end, before I retired, I was a senior design engineer, and then the last 4 years or 6 years, that I don't remember, I was a head checker for the Underwater Warfare Division of Hughes Aircraft. Officially, that's what was my title. But I got out because I didn't like the politics. I'm not a politician. You know, I like work. I like to be honest as much as I can.
When you got back from Korea, let me ask you, when you got back from Korea, did you have any bad dreams?
Oh, yeah. That happens all the time.
Still happens?
Yes. Yes. Yes, it does. And I'm hoping that this interview would help me kind of erase that. I really do psychologically. I've taken some courses in psychological courses to know what's wrong with me, you know, why I still remember. And I like to forget, but you can't. And it's really not important that I do forget. I can handle it. That's what I feel. As long as I can handle it, don't go hysterical or out of control or something. I can handle it.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's important to me, that I'm not being pampered or taken care of by... I do see a psychiatrist, because after I tried to blow my head off one time, and when I told that through the VA, they put me with a psychiatrist.
Well?
And the only thing that saved me, the fact that my 2 dachshunds were there, and they were looking at me, and that was 3 days after my wife passed, my last wife, and I was a caregiver, and I didn't know what am I going to do now, you know, what am I going to do now, and then some guy told me big guys can cry, so I decided to really bawl it out. That's the worst thing I ever done, was cry. And then you start feeling sorry for yourself, and that's no good. You don't feel, so you got to let go. And I got my gun. I have a 35 millimeter. I still have a 90 millimeter clock. And I gave sold all my other guns that I had, and carbines to gun shop. I just have that and another weapon, 22. Oh, I got a 22 rifle now too. But the thing is that I feel safe with myself, okay? And I just worried about hurting anybody when I pass, you know, and I'm trying to settle everything. I'll tell you what happened. I gotta tell you this, if you don't mind.
No.
In December, when I thought I had the flu and all that, and I gave away a 1981 Fiat convertible. Gave it away. I just take it away, that's all. And one thing I didn't like about it is the way it was redone. I didn't like the wiring and all that. It didn't look right to me. And I also had 2 boats. I gave them both away. And the last boat, which was a 22 day cruiser, the guy thought there was something wrong with me, but he took it. But he returned it to me later on. I thought I was very good of him, you know, when I came to my senses. And that's the reason a week before we left to come to Ohio, my wife helped me cover it up so I'd be there when I get, you know, cover it up in our backyard. I've only been here maybe a month and a half this time, but we spent 3 months here. So far, that's all we've done. And we intend just to spend 3 months here. She has a house here and everything. The reason for that is I have my wife that passed in '04. I've been married to her since '06. She was an attorney, and she got me into a trust. And I believe in trust now because I've gone through both the probate and trust. and a world of difference. World of difference. You know. Anyway, I guess that's it. I said
Okay.
too much already.
Thanks, Rudy. I appreciate it.